Hey everybody, I think we're live here. I'm going to just go to the channel on a separate monitor here really quick and share it with the Discord and a few other friends here. Okay. So let me know if you could hear. And we'll get started in just a second. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to pull up chat here. Make sure everyone can hear me okay. Alrighty. So I'll give it we'll give it a second or two before people start jumping in here. And just sent a notification out to everyone. So I want to go over with North Commerce sort of like what we've created, what we're doing, what we've worked on all this time. I think there's a lot to be done, and there's a lot that's been done as well. Hey Joshua, glad you're here. I appreciate that. So let me just double check everything is looking good. Hello Adam, good to see you as well. So I'm going to set up, make sure the shipping rates are set up, and then we can, I want to do a demo and show you kind of also like what it looks like to create products and things. So we'll do it live. We'll see how that goes. Okay. So one of the things that I just created this e-commerce store with the 2023 theme. Looks like this. So all of this is just Gutenberg blocks, you know, basic 2023 settings. I did update the, you know, some of the widths and sizing of the like the general containers. Bernard, hello, good afternoon. So let's see. Let's go through a checkout flow and see how it works right now. So here you can, you know, we have this product. There's two different variations here. You have a custom label for any product variation you have. So out of the box, there's text, there's size, there's color, and then there's image. You can name those whatever you want, and then that'll appear here. Then you can add an item to the cart. Looks like I already had this cherry hibiscus lime in my cart. If I wanted to remove that, I can just click remove and then check out. So this is all just vanilla Gutenberg, nothing special. I don't have any other plugins set up. I guess I just have create block theme, I guess, is the only other one I have. And then let me just double check I set up Stripe here before I go to checkout. Okay, yes, I did. And then I'm going to toggle that to test mode so I can print a test label. And then here you would, you know, create a product or create an order. So let's just go here. I'll do kelly.test@demo.com, and then we can accept those things here, and I'll do my name. I'll add a fake phone number, and then I'll add an address that's real, but that's just an apartment complex. Let's see. I want to make sure it's a real address so that we can create like an actual shipping label, but I don't remember exactly like what the zip code is. So I entered the shipping details in, and it spits out some shipping estimates from EasyPost. So I have UPS ground set up, first class, and priority. So because this product inside of North Commerce is less than like a pound, first class pops up, so you can select that. So I'll hit USPS, save and continue, and then we'll go to payments, and then we can process the payment. So I'll just enter in Stripe demo card, and then save and continue, place your order, Now I'm wondering if I set up the thank you page right. Yeah, well, that looks good. So I have my name, the address, the phone number I have, the shipping method I selected, and the total. And then I can come in here and review this order. So I have my order here, the status of paid, the payment status of paid, and then the order status of unfulfilled. Hello, Tresek. You said, hey, it looks nice, but what about add-ons? Some community will work on it now. So we're kind of waiting until we officially launch V1 to open it up to other developers or community members to create add-ons. I mean, right now you totally could, and that works great. There just might be some breaking changes that we have. Maybe not so much for the core version of North, but for third-party developers. So once we finalize our webhook stuff, and then also like our meta fields, so you can create custom columns in like a meta North Commerce table, then it'll make really, really easy to. And then automatically you'll inherit like all of the the security and the shipping, the filters, and all the other stuff directly from using our custom tables. So technically, yes, you can work on it now, but I would still wait like maybe a month and a half or so. Okay, so I have my order here. I can create a shipping label. So this is the ship from address. So what happens is I create I'll go into another tab here and show you. Wherever I'm shipping my products from, I can create a shipping profile for. And so in this particular case, I have this address, which is my old office, and this would be like the warehouse or my fulfillment center that I ship from. And then inside of the shipping profile, I'm creating shipping zones, which are where any place that you ship to. So that could be all of the United States, it could be Mexico, Canada, it could be Europe, it could be Australia. Wherever you ship to, you can create a zone for and then set up shipping rates for. So whether that's a flat rate or a carrier rate or whatever, you can add your own rate name here. And then in this particular case, I'm on test mode, so it's not going to show me the other carriers, but you could get like DHL and anything else that you would have available from EasyPost for shipping labels. So then I would just come in here and say like, okay, USPS, this is what I want to use to ship. It's a 1-day delivery time estimated by EasyPost with like 80% certainty. I would create that label, and then it would generate your shipping label just like that. And you could print it with a shipping label printer or your regular printer or whatever, and then ship off the product. So all of this was created in less than an hour. Granted, I may not have gotten super fancy. I'm using Gutenberg's 2023 theme, the classic WordPress theme. But even that, just using the 2023 theme alone just goes to show like you don't need much to get started with North. So, I could refine some of the designs here, but in general, like I have my featured products here, and then I have a collection of products that are automatically rendered with through North Commerce, and I could view this collection of products here. I could even select an option straight from there, and then just add it directly to my cart. So all of this is super, super easy. And at this point, we're just sort of scratching the surface. Like our main priority lately or recently has been building out the architecture to make this all work seamlessly and scale with your business. So if you guys are still watching, or whoever's still here, I'd love to hear any comments or questions you might have about North, or what's to come, or any concerns you might have. I'd love to hear those. And I'll give you guys a second to chat there. So one of the other things that is super interesting with North is that every single component, so kind of going back to Trasik's comment about community add-ons, third-party developers creating stuff for North, is we use a templating system here where everything is hookable. So, for example, if let's go like to the overview page, we have some options with this cards here. If you wanted to add more analytics, if a third-party developer wanted to provide some more information about a specific use case for a specific store, they could easily add extra cards just right in here by hooking into those. So it makes it super, super nice. Joshua says, this is very basic, but what are some reasons to choose North over Woo? So this is a great question. I think Woo has always been a great product, and it still is a great product and is continuing to evolve with their own custom order tables and all that stuff, and that's great. One thing that North makes a lot easier is that we have everything included directly out of the box, or at least we will as we get to V1. I think there's a great place. Woo has dominated and really been the only solution for e-commerce and WordPress, and it's free to get started, and so the barrier to entry is a lot lower, and that's wonderful. Some of the cons of that are like you have to buy a bunch of add-ons, and maybe there's not a certain particular add-on you want directly on WooCommerce.com, and so you have to kind of hunt around for that. But it's free, and there's a lot less friction to get started in terms of like the cost. But North will serve kind of like as a more premium option for WordPress. So everything will be included out of the box. It'll be a lot easier to get started and set up, and then you won't have to do anything additional to scale your business. While North might be, or while Woo might be great for getting started and validating ideas and getting your business off the ground, North Commerce is going to be great for handling those businesses that are, doing 10, 20, 30, 100, or 200K a month in revenue, and need certainty that your site's not going to crash and you're not going to lose customers. Would it work in Bricks Builder or need Bricks team to support it? Can we add custom fields to products and then show them inside the product? Custom post type, CTB overview. Yeah, so it will work with Bricks in terms of like any North Commerce component or template that you use will be compatible via shortcode. We are looking into creating some like query loops with Bricks. There's one community member who's super great, who's already kind of started building something for query loops. So you could get access to North Commerce products, and then via query loops in Bricks, you could create like product collections or whatever you want with that. I'd love to see Bricks support North, and we'd love to collaborate with them to build native Bricks blocks. That would be awesome. Adam goes, how does pricing compare to Shopify? So this is a great question. So North Commerce starts at $99 a month. Shopify starts at $39, and Shopify gives you a lot directly out of the box. But where North excels in terms of pricing over Shopify is it may seem a little bit more expensive up front, but for example, if you want to add subscriptions or payment plans or order bumps or single page checkout forms with Shopify, you'll either have to subscribe to another service and pay a minimum of $99. A lot of the top tier ones they start at $299. And then for single page checkout forms right now, you have to be a Plus member, I believe. So that starts at $399 as well. And so you do get a lot directly out of the box with North, and especially when we hit V1, when we've kind of hit feature parity with Woo and with Shopify, you'll see like, oh, $99 a month. It makes total sense because you're not having to buy 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 different add-ons to get all the features that you want with your store. Is Molly Payments already there? Yes, Molly Payments is available for single page checkout forms right now, so you could use Molly for that. Thanks for the answer. My pleasure, Joshua. If a customer's starting out and knows they'll be big eventually, should they skip over Woo or start with Woo and convert to North later? So yeah, this is a great question. This will vary based business to business. But if you already have some um, some traction with your business, you're already generating revenue, or maybe you're even like anticipating certain revenue based on pre-sales or your email list growing or whatever it ends up being, that you would have some indicator to just skip over North. Then skip over Woo, then and jump straight to North. And yes, 100%. I think it makes sense to start on a platform that you could stay with forever. Um, and like I've said, I think Woo is great. We're not here to compete with Woo at all, but I've talked to a lot of hosting companies, and there's been cases where these people have hit a certain threshold of revenue, a certain scale, and whether it's the hosting company not being able to fully create an environment where there's stability with that e-commerce store, it keeps crashing. They're losing money every day. Then that's where North would come in. We would be the people that, instead of them migrating over to Shopify or Wix or Squarespace or whatever, we would be another option for those people as well, to stick around on WordPress and then just use North, migrate over to North from Woo if that's the case, and we'd be happy to keep you in the ecosystem and then keep those hosting companies' customers happy, and customers of them as well. So good questions. These are great. But yeah, we've put a lot of thought into the pricing and the architecture of North, and I think I see a lot of comments, especially some of the comments today with our real beta launch, about us taking forever to develop and stuff like that. And I know it seems like it's been forever, but I think we've done the right thing to be patient and to do everything right the first time. So I know it feels like forever, but it'll be worth it. And now that we're done with the architecture side, and we have a strong implementation of everything and a strong understanding of like what we need to do from this point on with feature sets, then things are going to start pumping out a lot faster. So that'll be awesome. Cool. So good questions. Good. I appreciate you guys asking all this. I'm just going over here, looking at my chat on the other screen. Joshua, that's a great way of comparing North to Woo. Thank you. What's the strengths of North over WordPress compatible competitors, BigCommerce, for instance? Yeah, so that's a great question. I think that so there's a lot of good like arguments you could make when it comes to having like open source platforms like WordPress, versus closed platforms like BigCommerce or Wix or Shopify and things like that. BigCommerce, I think, would probably be like where we would compare North most in terms of our business model and our user base. Like what our ideal customer looks like is more like what BigCommerce ideal customer looks like versus Shopify's or even WooCommerce's. And so I think BigCommerce has created a really, really great like API system, and they've embraced headless and different, even some stuff in WordPress, and you have a lot of flexibility with BigCommerce. And so when it comes to North, you get that same flexibility as like BigCommerce has with custom REST API, advanced filtering via the REST API, your PHP API. So there's a lot of really great flexibility in terms of like what you can do with your store with North Commerce, just like you could with BigCommerce. But with North Commerce, you sort of get it in this context of WordPress, which gives you a lot more directly out of the box as well, which is super, super nice, especially as Gutenberg is evolving. What you're going to see is like, okay, North Commerce is amazing. I can create incredible add-ons for this particular company, or I can create products, and this random third-party plugin over here communicates perfectly with this random third-party plugin over here that, inside of North, they're all perfectly working together. And then, oh, awesome, I can use Gutenberg inside of WordPress to build my site and to customize certain blocks and do all this stuff, and that's wonderful. So it's kind of like this perfect combination of tools that all get to play together. Whereas like in BigCommerce, they have a lot of really great tools. Their builder might not be as easy to use or as extendable or whatever. So I would say that's kind of the biggest things is like where with North Commerce and WordPress bundle, we win really, really hard on that. Whereas BigCommerce is amazing. If you want to spend some money on like custom development and use their infrastructure, then you'll win 100% with BigCommerce. But the problem will be is like, okay, it's going to be a bigger investment up front to get a strong, good site developed. Whereas you could do that with, North and Gutenberg, for a lot cheaper and a lot quicker as well. So good question. Alexander, you say the horror with Woo is maintenance, third party, and solving so many bugs. Simple shops and Woo is fine, but complex stuff. Okay, so this is like a really, really good point. I think Alexander brings up like get started. We like I said in my launch video. If you haven't seen it yet, you can check it out on the channel. But it's like we want to see creative entrepreneurs get started for free and just test stuff and start to sell and have fun. And Woo is great for that. Simple stuff. But you start getting into complex shops, and it becomes a nightmare. And there's conflicts, and there's the plugins aren't talking to each other. And I hate bringing those. Like those are specific use cases that I've experienced and seen. So I want to speak from experience and not just sound like I'm bashing Woo, because I do love Woo, but yes, I think that's true. Is North Commerce will be able to solve some of these complex issues that you have for specific types of stores. Can we create custom stock per warehouse? Yeah. So basically, when it comes to having fulfillment centers or warehouses, what you would do is you could manage all of the products that are available in that particular warehouse. So let's say that I only have these 3 products in this default shipping profile warehouse over here at this location. If I wanted to remove them, I could remove them, and then those other 2, I could create a new shipping profile. So let's call this like second warehouse or something, and then here I would add those other products, just like this, and then I could add a new shipping address, and then I would have that second warehouse. So so say I have like an East Coast stock and a West Coast stock of products, then I can have those separate. If there's a situation where you would want, like you have all of your products between 2 warehouses and you need to manage both stocks, that's something that we could easily add to products, where you, inside of your products inventory, you would have an option for inventory based on a location. So there might be like a drop-down menu or something, or maybe a little bit more a bigger UI to manage that kind of stuff. So that's not necessarily in, but it would take less than a day to implement that based on what we have here. So good questions. Okay, and Alexander also says, so let's say I have a food ordering platform with multiple cities, each with its own stock. Can I do that with North, and then cookie condition based on zip code show a product stock? So yeah, that would fall right into kind of the same stuff. I don't know, like that's not available right now, but that's something that if people are requesting, that we could do. Like North has that flexibility for sure. Tyree, glad you're here. Thanks for your comments earlier too. I appreciate your feedback. Does North Commerce seek to provide membership functions like paid access to pages? Yeah, so I was talking to someone else about this just yesterday, and that's something that we're interested in doing as well. So you'll notice here, let me go over here to customers, and I have my customers here. So ignore that. But here you have customer tags. And so what you could do is you could create a product, and then when a person purchases that product, you could add a tag to them. And then you could set conditions on certain pages or certain blocks of content or whatever that only show when a customer has a certain tag. And so you could totally have sort of like this membership site functionality where, you know, things only show when a customer that's logged in has a specific customer tag because based on the product they purchased. So yeah, that wouldn't be a problem. And then Alexander says, can we sync those products across warehouses via a sync manager except the stock values? So sync the products, yes. But then don't have the inventory come in. I suppose you could control what syncs and doesn't sync via our API, so that wouldn't be a problem. Can that inventory value be JSONed outside via API? Yes, 100%. So any data you see within North is 100% accessible through our REST API, and then security is built in as well. So like, you know, like in other services you might, and we will eventually have more of this so you have more flexibility, but as of right now, you could hit a orders endpoint or a products endpoint, and it's only going to give you the data that is publicly accessible if you have no if you're requesting that data outside of WordPress, like in Postman or a third-party app or whatever. No orders would show up. You would just get an error. But you know, so products could show up, and you would get all the product data. And so, if a piece of that data that you would get for free could be you know, all of the product information that could be synced with your warehouse manager or your warehouse software or whatever. And that includes like any sort of inventory data too. Any way to sell to different groups of users and then track sales at the end of each month per group? So this is an interesting idea. We have some plans to do a lot of like split testing and like CRO features. So you could test certain things, certain offers, certain whatever. When you say specific groups or different groups of users, what exactly would be the specific use case for that, do you think? Like you have, you know, a group of members already on your site that, you know, are on a certain tier and you could sell to them, or you know, it's a different group of users based on location, or what exactly would be that use case? Because that seems interesting. Is it possible to make a functional store with North Commerce today? How long would it take to get coupons and wholesale options like buy 3 and get a 10% discount? So yes, you can create a North Commerce store right now and have it be super simple. So like if I'm selling, you know, if I'm selling these sodas or these, you know, these hard kombuchas or mimosas, whatever I'm selling, I could sell these here, and I could print my labels through North. I could fulfill orders, and all would be great. We are working on coupons right now. I expect those to be done in the next two weeks or so. And then you would have a fully featured coupon system. So like coupons based on user roles, coupons based on user or customer tags, coupons based on you know, price or items in the cart, all of that stuff. So yes. And then as far as wholesale options, you're saying like you would want to set up a wholesale option, like when you buy 3 of something, you can get a 10% discount. And but that person wouldn't necessarily have to be like logged in or anything like that. If that's the case, then yes, that would be available inside of North Commerce. Excuse me. But good question. Sorry, I'm just switching over to see my chat. Let me mute myself. I'm going to cough again. Okay, so let's see. So a group would be customers who belong to different organizations. This is for a cashback site that gives back a percentage of each sale to the organization group each member belongs to. So yeah, so then I guess my only question would be like, how are those groups or those organizations managed inside your site? Is it do they have their own specific login, their own specific like user role, or how is that all set up? Okay, great. So good question. I can't believe I didn't show this, and I honestly should have like. I need to add this to like the sales page too. Like my goodness. Okay, so inside of settings, you have notifications, and so if you want to create custom email templates, you can totally do that. So you can use like an email builder wherever you want, you know, like Stripo or whatever. And then you would just create, you could just create your template here, and you have all these different variables that you can add that will display the dynamic data for a particular order or whatever, or like you know, payment error, shipping confirmation, stuff like that. So good question. Coupons auto apply after sign up from email for first order only. Yes, 100% can do that. So things like that become super easy with how the North Commerce store is set up, checkout set up. Because we have three different, I guess let me just add something to my cart really quick. Because we have three different steps, we can trigger different actions based on each step as well. So, you know, you type in an order and, you know, Kelly test, and then if I wanted to apply a coupon right here, I could just, I could trigger that action right then and there. So when a user enters their email and I don't have that email in my system yet, or it created a new user versus updated a new user, or created a new customer instead of updated an existing customer, then we would add that coupon. So that's not a problem as well. Each user would have a custom meta field that would associate that user to their appropriate group. So yeah, I suppose we could, you know, we could grab those custom meta fields and then kind of segment, run a report based on, you know, customers who have purchased that also have this meta field. So that shouldn't be a problem. That wouldn't be a problem too. That's one of the things that, like, when we have spent so much time building our custom tables and like our data architecture so that we, you know, we can manage data really, really easily. One thing that's going to come really, really nice is reports. So you're not going to have a ton of trouble generating custom reports. And then especially when we can finalize some UI for generating custom reports, then it'll be much easier. The next question: those variables list meta keys from other tools? As of right now, they don't, but they potentially could if that's part of an integration that, you know, is built out for something and you want to provide extra information about a specific order or something. Yeah, but anything that's stored in orders could also be displayed inside of the emails. Are we able to get a preview of the account area if possible? Yes, Tyree, that's a great question. Not yet. We don't have that quite finished, but what you can anticipate with my account is, you know, your general customer account information that'll all be editable. If there's subscriptions there, you'll be able to upsell and downsell, cancel subscriptions, you know, have prorated refunds. You'll be able to, you know, there'll be dunning as well, any follow-up for, you know, expired or unpaid for subscription fees, all that stuff. And then you know, you could schedule different dates for different orders based on like all sorts of stuff. So my account will be pretty complex, but it'll be and it'll be pretty robust as well. Aless, sorry, I just came here. What about invoicing and revenue reports? Yes, so you can create custom invoices. Like, what's required to create custom invoices is ready to go. The only thing missing is UI at this point. And so what will happen is inside of orders here, you'll see, so like how we have on products here, we have a button here for add product. Here you'll have a button to add an order. You'll type in the customer's information, select a product that you want to add to the invoice, and then you could send it off. And then they could pay on a page that you would set up on your WordPress site for those custom invoices, and then it would have like the ID, and you'd be all good. So I just need to do the UI for that. We're not far off from doing that. And then revenue reports, yes. So same thing. We'll have an overview. We'll have I have a new developer working on this right now, and then we'll have a place where you can generate custom reports, print those out, export them as CSVs or whatever. So that'll be great. Um, Thanks, Adam. We will always want to be helpful. Alexander said, not sure if you can or want to answer, but what about the future existence, capital, team size, investors backing North? Any shares for scale I might be able to invest? Oh, yeah, it's a great question. Um, so I bootstrapped most of North myself, just with other agency work I was doing, other e-commerce stuff, other e-commerce clients that I've had. So I've sort of paid for everything with North out of my own pocket. Recently, this like 2 months ago or so, maybe a month ago, I think it was actually about a month ago, we did a small like friends and family raise and raised some money. Um, as of right now, I don't have a bunch more plans to raise, but I'm not opposed to it. Something that I might be interested in doing is this fall, maybe raising a bigger like seed round, like a million and a half or so. But we could use it; it would be beneficial. But at the same time, I'm not like actively raising anymore since that family and friends raise happened. But I'm not opposed to anything. So if you want to talk about something about some sort of investment, sure, we could talk about that. That'd be awesome. Um, Great questions. This is awesome, you guys. I appreciate all the feedback and the comments. Seems great. Another question. We have multiple shops in Europe and we use the big travel company called Paqueta for delivery. Do you plan any integrations with services for delivery, payments, etc.? Yes. So there's sort of two things that we want to do when it comes to natively integrating other services with North. Is one, we want to look at what the demand is for that particular integration, and then two, if we're building a site for somebody, or someone in our community is building a site for somebody, do could we have that client sponsor that feature and make their life easier? It may not cost, it's not going to cost tens of thousands of dollars to do an integration, but could the client sponsor it maybe? And then just overall, what's the complexity, what's the use case? And so something like, let's look it up, Paqueta. Let's see if I can just pull it up with one of these things. So logistics and e-commerce solution. So yeah, so this looks like maybe like a fulfillment center service or something. We could totally look at that. Something. So what we're building right now is kind of like our infrastructure for I want to say infrastructure, but our mechanism and system for easily creating integrations. So for example, if Paqueta, we can even let's look again really quick. If Paqueta has like a place where we could just hit an endpoint and send them data to a specific user account, then like an integration would take days to do or less. So we'd have to look at their documentation. But like the truth is, like if a third party integration like a Paqueta or a ShipStation or something allows us to, one, authenticate to that user's account, and then just hit a couple endpoints to send data to, so that we can you can get order data or whatever. Then it would be really, really easy to integrate. So like generally most integrations have just some endpoint you hit with a certain amount of data, and then they have their specific format. You would hit that via our webhook system, and boom, it's the integration's done and it's easy. So these are all the things that we've been working on that seem like they're taking forever to do, but now that those are done, it's like, okay, cool. You want this integration? Okay, I think we will have no problem doing it. Let's just take a look at the documentation. So that's what gives us a bunch of what pays a bunch of dividends in the future. And now we're in the future, so it's gonna be great. So sorry for that super long-winded answer, but yes, the answer is most likely yes. And if you want it done faster, then clients can sponsor that, and that's always super, super helpful for everyone. And so we want to make kind of like a win-win-win for everyone. Will there be an iOS Android app for accessing orders and get orders updates, notifications with sound and such? Yes, absolutely. So my background with software like started with iOS and app development, and so that would be great. I think it's pretty low on the priority right now, but yeah, we have plans for that. Our REST API would work perfectly for that. You could authenticate really easily, with your WordPress login to to log into the app. So you would just type basically your domain, and then you would type in your admin password, and then we would know you're an admin, and you would get access to all the user data inside the iOS app. So it would be super simple. Well, this sounds interesting because most integrations with WooCommerce are a pain. Thanks. Well, so this is something that we also learned like from WooCommerce, and so they're wonderful. We are trying to, technically with WordPress, everything's GPL, so like you could do whatever you want with anything in WordPress, right? But does it make sense for you to do whatever you want if you're doing feature A, but it doesn't really work with feature B or feature C that was developed by some other person too? It would be awesome if North Commerce and then other developers could develop things for North, integrations, other add-ons, whatever, other features, and they all talk to each other. And so that's sort of like how we want. That's why we're standardizing a lot of this stuff inside of North Commerce. So we don't have any of these conflict issues, and things can work together more seamlessly. So like, with our webhook system and with our, with our custom tables and inheriting all those things, it'll make integrations a lot easier. Does Pabbly, Zapier, SyncSpider have North on their roadmap, or maybe you have plans to build with them? Yeah, so Zapier, that's kind of like our first little like test plugin for our webhook system, and that should be finished up today or tomorrow. It's Friday. Tomorrow's Friday, so it'd probably be finished up tomorrow. I'll do a lot of testing, and then we'll push it on in the next update. And then Pabbly, same thing with Pabbly. That's pretty much done as well. We just have to refactor some stuff to use that new webhook system. Things like SyncSpider or Make or Alloy or there's a thousand different ones. They might not even at this point need a direct integration. I mean, it makes it easy in terms of user experience on that platform to have a direct integration, but a lot of those already have like webhook capabilities. And so, like for example, in Zapier, you could go into Zapier and you could create a custom webhook URL in Zapier. Then you would copy and paste that inside of North Commerce. So like in settings, after we're done, we'll have like a webhooks tab. And then imagine this is the input field for the webhooks. You would paste that webhook, you would select an event that you want, save it, and then anytime that happens, like a new order is created and paid for, then that data would get sent to that Zapier endpoint, and you would have that data to do whatever you want with inside of Zapier. So it would work pretty. So for most of those softwares have endpoints like that, where you could create custom webhook URLs, and then you add those in North, and then you get the data right away. So it might be not like your typical like user experience, but you could easily add that for any of those services. North Commerce will extend its functionality, e.g. courses, subscriptions, user logs, activity. Yes, so I don't know specifically about courses. I guess you could drip out a course based on tags that someone, based on customer tags that someone purchases each lesson individually if you wanted. But subscriptions, yes, that'll be a huge feature for North, and we'll have a lot of really cool tools to help people keep subscribers active and engaged with their subscription. What about variable products? I would really love to have something like price per weight. Customers will enter the weight they want and get a price. Yeah, so I've had people talk about this before, and that's a good question. That's something that we could look at. I don't have specific plans for that, but But like anything else, if there's demand for it, or if a client or someone wanted to sponsor that feature, that we could make that work. I almost think like you could do that through. You can almost do that through. Well, never mind. It would be more of a native product thing. But yes, that would be something interesting to look at. Did you already do a security penetration test by another company specialized in security? We haven't actually done that yet, but we've had some. I've had some people from the WordPress.org plugin team look at it, and so we got a lot of good feedback from them, and so we're doing some updates there to make sure that all those little security things are good. But in general, our security is pretty tight. I think like you would look at our database tables and you would see certain ID structures we're using that may seem a little bit overkill, but it makes things that much safer too. So, but it would be wise to do that. I do agree with that. That might come closer to V1. Group products and product packs are 100% on the roadmap as well. That's something that we've talked about since the beginning, and grouping products and bundles will be awesome. And so in general, what will happen is you'll be able to manage, so you'll create products individually, and then you'll be able to group them into like a single bundle, and then you would set a price for that bundle, and then it would use the inventory from each of those products. So if you're selling grouped products and then you're selling individual products, all of those quantities would be synchronized, so that if a single product goes out of stock, then that bundle is now out of stock because that product is missing, or because that single product in that bundle is out of stock as well. I'm impressed by the current state and happy to start developing on it. Yeah, I mean, I would love to. I'd love to see what you come up with. If you need help, I'm here to support you, and would love to collaborate with anyone that wants to build stores or add-ons with North. About some payment conditionals, like if you select some delivery option, you can only pay with card. So LS, you mean like if I'm choosing between like PayPal and Stripe, I might not want to show Apple Pay or Google Pay. I just want to show card or something, and so you want to like have some conditional things displayed there. So features like that, like this brings up a good like use case for specific types of features. So like North won't technically like natively support these type of like visual conditional things. Those will come from like our Gutenberg blocks or any third-party developers or any builders that build like modules or whatever for North Commerce. We'd be able to set those conditions on that level versus like in core North. So like if you wanted to only show like credit card fields when they select a certain payment option, then that would be an option on the Gutenberg block level, or the Elementor block level versus like a setting inside of North Commerce or something. A friend of mine is the dev of Fortress Security. Highly recommend you to contact him. Best security expert currently in the WordPress ecosystem. Alexander, that'd be awesome. If you could email me, or even just chat me on the website on Intercom, and send me his information, and I would love to connect with him and learn. Yep, or I may select Paqueta, and I can pay only with card. If I select check post, I can only pay by bank transfer. Okay, so Ales, what I'm thinking is like if the customer, so say Paqueta gives us back shipping rates for check post or whatever, then the customer on your website would just pay the estimated price for that shipping rate, and then if when you go to purchase the actual shipping post, like the actual postage from check post, whether that's from Paqueta or from somewhere else, and you have to use bank transfer, then you as a store owner would probably do that versus the customer. The customer would just pay with whatever payment method that you have available on the checkout. So that could be bank transfer, or it could be credit card, it could be PayPal, it could be whatever. But to actually purchase the shipping label itself, if it's required that you can only use bank transfer for check post shipping labels, then you as a store owner would handle that versus the customer. The customer would just check out like they would check out. Unless I'm missing something there, but I think that generally would be like my recommended user experience for that, because you wouldn't make the customer pay for the shipping label and generate the shipping label directly from CheckPost, so you wouldn't have to like worry about having those requirements from them specifically until you actually purchase it after the order was created and stuff. Good question. These are great questions, good use cases too. So if you haven't already seen it, I created a shipping label here, and then through EasyPost, and then you can always review that shipping label in there, and reprint it if you need to. So you also see this right here as well. So this was a if you've been here for a minute or two, you notice that I typed in this email for these products here when I was explaining about like the coupon. Someone had asked about coupons applying on a first purchase with an email, and I was using that as an example. But I didn't complete anything when it came to that checkout. I just added the email, hit save and continue, and then like I didn't enter any shipping address, I didn't enter billing address, I didn't check out or anything. But I still get this information in the light items that they had in their cart. So we automatically have abandoned cart built into North Commerce, and so then you could follow up with this person. Their order is in a created state, so we know they haven't purchased anything, it's unpaid. We could follow up with them via email inside of North, or if you use a CRM or something that you want to create custom flows with, then you could do that as well. So this is an interesting feature as well that's automatically built in with North. There's a special scenario with local pickup where users can't pay locally, so we need him to pay online by card before he came to the warehouse. And my last question is, did you think about some kind of reward system, some gamification points and rewards? Okay, so yeah, but I think with local pickup, you could select local pickup as a shipping option, and then they would pay for that when they order the product. So like you could create a shipping label. Even right now, we'll have local pickup available, where it's a little bit more conditional based on like zip codes and areas based on the user's address, like it would show. But even now, you could set up a shipping zone for a specific, say I'm in the United States, for example. I only want people to pick up in Arizona because that's where my office is or my fulfillment center is, and then I could add a rate called local pickup, and then I would make that free, and I would save that, and then anyone in Arizona could come local pickup, and maybe I add like an address to it, so it's like my address is whatever it is, so people know where to go. And then so even now you could sort of do that based on like a state or something, but with our actual local pickup feature, you'll have the option to set like zip codes and other more like specific areas that local pickup option will show. But yeah, the gamification stuff too, points and rewards. We do have some ideas for like for customer rewards and stuff like that. But I think like other gamification and point systems could be a really great plugin for like a third-party developer to create for North. Ian, I think what he's trying to say is there might be a toggle on a per product basis that pulls the payment method set up in North, and you can decide which way a customer can pay in a product level. Yeah, I don't see why not. If you have your product options selected, we could just conditionally show those payment method fields based on the product in your cart. And do you support pay at delivery? I am sure if it is used in the US or not, but in Europe it's pretty common that customers pay it to the postman. Yeah, so it's been requested to do like cash on delivery. We have an option for that, like where you can create free products, and so all we need to do is just create a delivery method that would make the product also free in the checkout when you selected cash on delivery. So that's just something we need to do, but it's possible, and we will have that for sure. That's been highly requested. All right, Alexander, thanks for jumping in and good questions. I appreciate your time, and I'll look forward to talking to you with about your security buddy. Okay, good questions. So we're kind of like, how far into this are we? Um, 55 minutes or so. So I'll probably be here for another 5 more minutes or so. But any other questions or thoughts or anything that you guys have? Anything from me? So I just hired 2 more developers, just so everyone knows as well. We're growing the team, so it was just 3 of us originally. Now it's 5 of us right now. I've hired 2 people in the last month, and now we're just pushing North Commerce heavily now with actual features, and so you'll see a lot more updates happening, and we're updating like our entire like deployment pipeline, so everything makes sense and is ready for production. And even now, you can create a live store and take live payments, and everything's safe and secure and all that. Can we edit the checkout fields? Not right now, but you will be able to with our blocks. Possible to create front-end form to add products. Potentially. I'd have to double check, Brian, what our REST API security looks like in terms of creating products. But I mean, I guess you could totally do that right out of the box right now. All you would have to do is like, so our REST API also hooks into like some of WordPress security stuff. So like, if you have, if you wanted to create a front end form to add products, and what I'm thinking you're saying is creating a product for your business, right? Then you would just add a new application password here and call this like product form or whatever, and then you would use this this product form ID, which is basically like an API key, inside of your like your post request, and then you could create products all day from anywhere you want for your specific store. So you would just hit this endpoint, it would know you're an admin, and it would create products with whatever interface you want. I think that's what you mean. If not, let me know. Kareem says the prices for North Commerce are scary. Well, don't be scared. We're here to support. We're here to support you, and I can promise you that you'll make more than $99 a month, a lot more than $99 a month when it comes to building your e-commerce store with North. We'll have a lot of resources for you. We'll have a lot of really great tools, and we'll make it very easy for you to be successful with North, and that's kind of our goal. Okay, good questions. I kind of want to wait a second or two to make sure I answered Brian's question correctly. But if there's any other questions, let me know. Else we've been about an hour on the live stream, but I'm happy to do more of these and give you guys more consistent updates, especially now that we'll start releasing more consistent updates. I'm just looking at chat over here. But yeah, just to recap, North Commerce is for sale. It's production ready, meaning you can take live payments and safe and secure. We're calling it production beta, or the real beta right now, because we still are not fully featured yet, but we're releasing everything. And the goal is to release a lot of the core features in the next 90 days and then get everyone started. And then from there, create more integrations, expand our existing feature set, and just accommodate whatever you guys want, and so that you guys can be successful. Yes. It's like Metabox or Fluent Forms or so. Oh, okay. So you would want to create like a front-end form to add products. So like adding more custom fields to the product. Yeah, I think we would have like an ACF or Metabox integration and you could do that 100%. I think that would be good. And there's a lot of stuff there. So I'm reluctant to integrate MetaBox and ACF, because if we could build our own little meta system that hooks into our API and everything automatically, that might be better. But if we can do that with ACF as well, then we'll have a lot of benefits there too. So we'll see. So so the builders now are Gutenberg blocks. There won't be like a native North Commerce builder, but we are working on our North Commerce Gutenberg blocks right now, and we're talking to one specific other builder, I won't say who it is yet, who is working on some North Commerce blocks for us as well for their builder, and hopefully we can continue to partner with other theme builder plugins and builder plugins, so that we can have native modules and blocks for all of them. So thank you so much, you guys, for tuning in. I appreciate everyone's time. I appreciate you guys coming in, and I'll do more streams so that I can keep you guys up to date with the latest North Commerce stuff. And I appreciate everything. So we'll see you later.